That is my friend Joel Zimmerman, or as you probably know him, Deadmau5. He's getting ready for yet another tour, hard at work prepping his new stage setup, Cube V3. It is epic. I recently got back from Toronto where I spent 2 days in a warehouse with Joel and his team during rehearsals. I had the chance to sit with Joel and talk extensively about this whole process, how Cube 3.0 came to be, how it works. Plus, he gave me an exclusive look inside the Cube itself, which apparently is not actually the third version of the Cube.
I want to call it Cube 7.
Why is that?
Well, you know, it's just been so many like iterations, some more minor than not, but then some major ones. And then remember the motorized one with the panels that moved? Yes. And then we had one with 3 massive robots underneath it that exploded. You know, so this is like not the third.
Regardless of the technicalities, Cube V3 is an impressive feat of engineering. I mean, look at this thing. It is huge. How do you even make something like this?
We modeled it in 3D first, and then we took it to an engineer and safety engineer and all that. It went through a rigorous and brutal engineering process, but we had the concept, right? We said, let's just put this thing on a caster and rotate the whole thing.
Yes, it rotates, but before we get any further, I want you to first hear the origin story for this version of the Cube.
This iteration of the Cube idea came from Collins. I remember we were on a flight. I was just spitballing, you know, hey, we should make like a full Cube, because there was some question about remember the way it used to look like a stealth fighter, because
yes,
we had those panels missing. I was thinking, man, we should just one day just buy 6 extra panels and just fill it. And they were like, yeah, but then it would obscure your view from where you stand atop the Cube. And I'm like, then why don't I go in it? And they were like, and then Collins blurted out, and we'll make it rotate and tilt for cheap. And I was like, yeah, you know, and then we were like, and then my manager was just like, oh God, here we go with the money thing again. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one thing to build a static cube. It's another thing to attach shitloads of motors and robotics to make it do really crazy things. So there was some face palming and there was some high fives basically on that flight.
So Cube V3 rotates and tilts. Here's how.
The tilt is actually controlled by 2 hydraulic pistons that expand and contract down there. And what happens is when they pull, they're pulling the whole weight of that cube from the bottom, so the top is being pulled from the bottom. And so that's wow, that's a lot of power. There's a motor down in there in that junk that basically attaches to this monstrosity of a slew ring. So what it does is it holds the ballast, all the weight back this way for the weight that's leading forwards when it's tilted this way, because while this looks massive and stupid heavy and all that, it's really not. It's surprisingly light, and the only reason we're able to even do this is because of the type of panel that we're using. This here, this is where the LEDs are affixed to. Now this, you can one finger lift it. So I don't know if the camera will get it, but these are all carbon fiber rods. It's light as hell, it's strong as hell.
And you can also see through the cube when it's off.
Yeah, but it's just like looking through a lot of slats. At a certain angle, you can't quite see through. Like you can probably
I can see you.
Yeah, now move a couple feet that way. See, now you can't see me.
Right.
You see what I mean? Right. And of course, if you're perpendicular from the cube, yeah, you probably got a good shot of me, providing nothing is lit up, because these are 5000 nit. So these get really bright. So any even dim content automatically obscures anything behind it, right?
Speaking of content, there's a lot of it. Joel has cooked up an arsenal of visuals for the Cube V3 tour. And it's not just the cube. You probably noticed all of the lights and the LED wall behind the cube, and the LED panel affixed to the rear of the cube so that when the cube is rotated 180 degrees, the content isn't completely obscured. Nice touch. The visuals are done in a program called Touch Designer, which Joel can explain better than I can.
Touch Designer is a visual and data creation suite that does things in real time. I can take that OSC data in and I could say, draw a rectangle on my GPU that just pulses, and then take this OSC value and pulse it at this speed. So a MIDI note would be going on a quarter note. Duh, 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 duh. This is so basic.
Yeah.
And then that rectangle would go, and the GPU would spit out that video information in real time as that was happening. So if I stopped doing that, that would stop. The real high FPS, super high res and tight imagery comes from communicating directly to the GPU. And we're using a lot of that. The show runs from 2 Quadro RTX 8000s. It's the combination of CPU handling the data, the protocol like OSC, all the data comes in, CPU processes all that, which leaves all the room in the world for GPU to take that information and wow.
So that's a glimpse into how the content delivery system for the Cube works. Now let's go inside and see Joel's setup.
I'm going to have my controllers here, as I think a lot of fans and stuff know. Me and Malcolm from Derivative have been building our own custom design touchscreen app that lets us control various elements of the music and the visuals. This is going to tell me the tilt in degrees. So we are at 34.799999 degrees. And the rotation, we're at home position, which is negative 360.123291 degrees. So it's accurate to 8 floats. There is a lot of empty space here, which will be occupied by synthesizers and other things that plug in through Ableton and are played out, and I do like I used to do in my other shows. This is new. This is the Model 1, which is Richie Houghton's flagship mixer. He wanted to make a no bullshit mixer that was 100% analog filters, no digital USB trickery, no dumb cheap DSP fuckery effects. You know, it's just as pure as pure can be. So here we are going flat. So as you can see, I can see my tilt in degrees. I don't know what's up with those lights.
Wow, so now you're fully
yes,
encapsulated in the cube.
in the cage of emotion. So now the viewers are seeing a flat cube. Of course, the content has readjusted to the front of the position. Now we're at 0. Holy shit, we're exactly level. And the best thing of all is the show is 100% virtualized. So I can take this laptop, go home, boot up a computer, and develop the whole thing on with complete rotating cube and everything.
In addition to all of this, Joel and his team recently released the Deadmau5 Community App, a portal for all things, you guessed it, Deadmau5. And yes, Joel is on there.
And now I've got this thing where you can kind of come in, if you're a Deadmau5 fan, you know, I'm not gonna have 12 million followers on there, you know, but I got the followers I want, you know what I mean? And I can talk to the people that I want to talk to. We've got this ecosystem where because of this app, well, we can introduce things like a point system kind of things too. So we can find out who the biggest fan is and give out prizes and offer some kind of like little small, not cryptocurrency, but just some kind of internal currency where you can buy an upgraded ticket package for my show through having been a really active participant of the app.
I think that after spending all this time with Joel and his team, seeing the intricacies of the production and how much he's involved in the process, the shows are going to be incredible. Deadmau5 and his team work really hard to make this whole thing happen, and he likes the challenge.
Honestly, I like the challenges, and I like doing this kind of shit, and I like optimize, and see like how cheap you can do something, or how that in terms of like, you know, process, not like cheap.
Because this is now
Well,
arguably,
this is also pretty cheap.
this is a better setup and it's cheaper.
Yeah. So we're streamlining and we're getting a lot of bang for our buck in terms of like what you would expect to see if you're gonna pay a ticket to go see some fucking guy hit a spacebar or whatever.
Take it from me. If you buy a ticket to, quote, see some guy hit a spacebar, if that guy is Deadmau5, you'll be really glad you did.
Yeah, it is actually now a cube. Now it's all grown up. It's a full. Actually, technically, it's a 3-sided cube. It's you know, 3/6 of a cube.
Or 1/2 of a cube.
Yeah.